home of the Irish athletes. It is an Irish sports podcast that brings the latest news and insights into current and past Irish sport and events, featuring up and coming Irish talent from their chosen sport and giving them a platform to give an insight into their career. Podcast also gives a voice for experienced Irish athletes as they look to spread their wisdom. Some of the high profile guests that you can hear in the podcast include RTE broadcaster Darragh Maloney, Dublin GAA ladies captain Carla Rowe, and Bray Wanderers football player Kieran. It's available on Spotify and YouTube, and the host, Josh Lindsay, joins me now to discuss more. Josh, thanks for coming on to the show.
No water at all. How are you, Ryan?
Good, not bad, not bad. I think we'll get stuck into it, Josh. Get the first question underway. So, if you could tell me what your podcast, The Home of Irish Athletes, what's it about, basically?
Basically, I started the podcast really looking for kind of to give an insight into Irish sports and to get, relatable people on the podcast and kind of delve into their careers and just all about sports basically in Ireland. I wanted to give a voice to Irish sports because I feel in the country at the minute, you know, there's not a big kind of platform covering these Irish sports, and I'm not I don't want to look for fame or anything like that, but I want to give a voice to these Irish athletes and get their voices out there and have a platform for them to kind of come on and show themselves, and I just want to chat to some interesting people and get it out there. That's my plan, yeah.
And why do you think there's no platform for Irish sports in this country, in your opinion?
Well, there is platforms. It's probably harsh in saying that there is many podcasts and stuff like that that cover off Irish sports, but I think I think most of these platforms and most of these publications, are people getting paid to talk about the sport. And I'm not saying that they don't have an interest in the sport or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, for myself, like, I don't get paid for this. Like, I'm coming on just to talk to interesting people. I just want to see what's going on in their background, people's backgrounds, different backgrounds. It's just really interesting delving into different people in the sporting world. And obviously I have a bit of a sporting background myself in the way I'm, reporting and stuff on games. And, I just want to get out there because I genuinely feel that, especially football in Ireland, like the League of Ireland, I think it's so good. Like the experience and all there is like second to none. Like I think it's one of the best leagues in the world, as Damien Duff was saying. He said that in an interview before, that he said he thinks that's the best league in the world, and obviously he's played for the likes of Chelsea and all over in the Premier League. Like he knows what it's like to be over there, and that's what he's saying about the League of Ireland now. So like
And
I just want to get it out there really, and
hmm.
just promote it.
And how's your podcast unique then from other podcasts?
Yeah, like I said there, I'm not getting paid to do this, so I just want to go chat to interesting people, you know, get them out there, put it up on Spotify. Like I think it's class that I'm even on Spotify. Like, who gave me a microphone? Like, but I'm talking to interesting people like on Spotify. Obviously, as I said, I'm not getting paid for it, but I just love delving into people's backgrounds and seeing where they come from. And I'm not out there chasing big stars or anything like that. Like, I want to chat to the people who are on the come up and people whose careers haven't hit the heights of what they will go on and hit and achieve. And then obviously the opposite of that, like you were saying at the start in the intro, there's at the moment there's been people like you have Kieran Crows, who's up and coming. He's only young, like only I think he's younger than myself, about 20 years old, 21.
Same as me, to be
Um,
honest.
yeah, exactly. Like, so, he's playing for Bray and he's doing really good there at the minute. So, he's a good up and coming Irish talent. But then you have the likes of, Carla Rowe, who's been on the podcast, who's in the prime of her career, and she's doing really good in Dublin there at the minute, and they're having a good season so far. Like, and then you have the likes of Darragh Maloney and Robbie Irwin, who are just, masterminds when it comes to, radio and presenting and all the sports that they cover. And then obviously Pat Fenlon, who has done that, been there, done that, all the experience that he carries. So, I just want to cover all that side of it. But, I don't want to go after chasing stars. I want to go to the rising stars and give them a platform and kind of speak to them.
Have you had a favorite guest out of the five you mentioned there?
Yeah. Now, obviously, I would say this, but like all of them have actually been really good. Like I haven't left the podcast. I know it's only been 5 episodes, but like I haven't left an episode saying, "Oh, Jesus, like he could have gave me more," like, but, or she could have gave me more. But no, like every episode that I've come out of, I've been like, "Ah, yeah, deadly buzzing with that." Like I think, see, one that I have uploaded and have since took down was a pilot episode that I did with Carla. It was the head of small sided games in St. Kevin's, and he's Evan Ferguson's first coach. But he's more than that. He's more than that. And I've seen him on podcast before, and the title is Evan Ferguson's first coach. And like, I don't want to just, title someone as Evan Ferguson's first coach. He's Carl Lamb. He has a mind of his own. He's a football genius, that fella. So I'm hoping to get him back on the podcast now soon, because that pilot episode was literally 2 hours long and we just chatted for ages. So I might release that soon just as a little bonus
I think you
bonus
should.
episode. But yeah, but yeah, no, I'm hoping to do a proper episode with him soon enough. But yeah, like as a favorite, I don't know, because Robbie Irwin was my first that was the first episode, and we did that in Kevin's in the boardroom, and it had a kind of a special feel to it because it was kind of the opening of the podcast, the kickstart of it. And it was kind of conversation. It just flowed real well and was really good. So I really enjoyed that. But Darragh Maloney as well was like, I was in a I did a course in DBS online, and it was a sports journalism diploma. And on one of the modules, we were actually looking into like how to kind of base, what you're going to go into, what you're going to do, like how to look up to and how to base your work off. And all the videos were of Darragh Maloney asking questions to, Brian Kerr, or all the lads in the RTE broadcast at that time. Um, and then to have him on the actual podcast was mad. Like, so I don't know. I'd say them two are really good now, but Carla was brilliant. It was just like another conversation. It was just a flow. It was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Kieran was really good. We kind of had that, we're the same age. We kind of got each other. That was really good as well. I enjoyed that. And then Pat Fenlon was just, I've just always been interested in his career. And he came in, I was doing a sports course at the start of the year last year. And he came into the sports course and he gave us a talk then. And like, as one of the special guests coming in to give us a talk, like, and ever since then I was like, I have to speak to him more. Like, he's so interesting. So I've enjoyed every single one of them. So I'm not going to get a definite answer there. But yeah, there you go. We've got a long-winded answer out of
Yeah.
all the episodes.
I'll say personally, I think Darragh Maloney was my favourite just because he's that prestigious, as a broadcaster in RTE. Um, is that kind of the career you're leaning towards? Obviously, sports, but looking at, say, the media, broadcasting, and sports journalism, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. I remember even in primary school coming out of it. Obviously, we went to primary school together.
Yeah, we did.
Um, But I remember in primary school, even coming out of it, I always had a vision, or I always wanted to be a sports journalist for some reason. That was always in my head. And I remember going around telling everyone I wanted to be a sports journalist. Then when I came to secondary school, I don't know, I think I just kind of forgot what I wanted to be. When you're in that kind of phase of you don't know what you're going to do after school. And that's what I was kind of in then. And then it kind of hit me then only, when I joined back that sports course. It's called the Life Sports Course. It's actually a really good platform. I'll have to get the lads on my podcast soon. They're really good lads, John and Craig, who had me on. So they were really good lads. But yeah, give a little shout out to them because they're doing really good work there in the inner city. But yeah, ever since I was on that course, I don't know, it's just the love for sports and everything just came back. Like I've always liked sports, but I don't know, it's just a special love for the sports came back then when I was in that sports course, and I I just went for it. Like they gave me the funding to go on and do that diploma in DBS for the sports journalism. So very grateful for that. And like yeah, that's where I kind of figured out what I wanted to do again. I went back to me roots of sixth class and first year, saying I wanted to go into sports journalism. So yeah, I definitely love to go into that 100%. That's the future. Like I remember Darragh was on the podcast and he said there's nothing better than, getting invited to the big games and sitting in the best seats in the house and watching football matches, and that's your job. Like that is perfection. Like that's what I want to do. So yeah, that's the plan.
And where do you see the podcast heading in the future? Where would you like it to go?
Yeah, well, look, I'd be lying if I said I didn't, I wouldn't want it to go to like, hit the heights of being, the best podcast out there and make loads of money off it and all this sort of stuff. But like, I'm perfectly happy with it not going to that, and just perfectly happy with never getting paid from it, and just getting people on that just different characters and different interesting people just to talk to, because that's what I really want to do from this. That's what I've really enjoyed from it, is just talking to different people and getting insights into their careers and different kind of, expertise of knowledge from them. So that's what I've really enjoyed. And, as long as that continues, all the rest of it is just a bonus. I just want to talk to interesting people. So yeah.
And have you learned anything from making your podcast?
Yeah, there's a lot more into making a podcast, or the audio production and
Don't get me started.
the equipment. Yeah, yeah, I'd say yourself you found that out. But yeah, no, I wasn't expecting all the background work into it and all. I thought it was just, get in front of a camera or get in front of a microphone and just talk. And it is that to an extent, but just all the background work of getting all the software and editing and, the microphone, the equipment and everything that goes behind it. Yeah, that was a learning curve to get over, but I think I've gotten over that little learning curve now. Now I'm still not an expert in it, but yeah, I think it's going all right so far. So
I think it is as well. I've really enjoyed listening to all the episodes so far. But if I could ask you one final question, Josh, would there be any dream sports athletes that you could interview on the podcast?
ooh, dream sports athletes. Like you said, I kind of want to get the rising stars. Like I don't want to be shooting for stars, but if I could talk to, I want to talk to people as well, that not just the rising stars, the people that may have been forgotten about, like retired boxers, or that people, liked in their day, and like really adored them when they were boxing, and now have just totally forgotten about. Like I'm not saying Bernard Dunn is forgotten about, but I'd love to get Bernard Dunn on the podcast. I remember my granddad actually ran his own boxing club, and he actually tracked me down since the age of 6 to it. But um, he's gone now. But he gave me a boxing glove years ago, and it was actually signed by Bernard Dunn. He went to one of the fights, and he got Bernard Dunn in his hall corner to sign the glove, and I still have it there in the spare room. So I'd love for him to come on. I think that would be brilliant. But obviously the likes of Katie Taylor, and I'd love to have Katie Taylor on one day, and Evan Ferguson I'd love to have on as well. Um, Someday hopefully that will happen. But yeah, that would be really good. I'd like to speak to Evan because I kind of have that link with him now that I'm coaching in Kevin's and stuff like that. So I know kind of what happens in Kevin's, where obviously he played schoolboy football, and I'm good mates with Carl and his coach and Kevin. So yeah, no, I'd love to get him on, and obviously he's bleeding younger than me, and he looks like he could eat me. So that as well. But yeah, I'd love to chat to them. But yeah, it's not like I don't want to be shooting for the McGregors of the world. I want to be shooting for even Jamie Mullins. out of Brighton who came from Kevin's, and the Bernard Dunns of the world who have had a really good career, and just to get the insight into them, they might not be the most popular. Um, no disrespect to Bernard Dunn, because I love Bernard Dunn, but I'm just saying, you know, maybe not the most popular athletes in the world like the McGregors, but to get someone on that I really have a strong interest in, and wanting to get to know them better. That's the aim. That's the aim. So yeah.
Josh Lindsay, host of the Home of Irish Athletes, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Brilliant. Thank you. I really enjoyed it, Ryan. Thank you.
Cheers.